What up, what up, what up? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. What is going on, everyone? Hope everyone's having a great day. I'm trying to untangle myself. Goddamn.
Oh, should have done that pre-production.
Well, literally, like, when it started, I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm tangled up. Whatever, who cares? Who cares? We're going to rock with it. What is going on, everyone? I hope everyone is having a great day. I'm Shadell, co-host of PagingTheSimpsons. I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Lauren.
Man, so this episode, I'm actually feeling like we're going to have a lot of things to talk about outside of, you know, like the Black Lives Matter protests that's happening and the whole police brutality. The coronavirus, a lot of things outside of that, I feel like, right?
Yeah, pretty much outside of coronavirus and racism.
So I'm cool with that.
This episode will probably be more of like normal, what we always used to do. Just the kind of mishmash of talking about what's going on in the internet world, the celebrity world, all that different stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy. I need a break. I've been waiting for that for since Corona. I'm like, man, this is going to be the last episode about Corona. And then it kept happening. And then we got into the protest stuff. And I'm like, this is going to be the last episode. And then it kept on. I just want normal news. I just want to talk about it with you. That's it. I just want it to be light, you know? Okay. Before we get into it, I just want to let everyone know, like I said, months ago, we did put up the wedding highlight video on YouTube. It will be also up on Instagram. I would like to say by the time this video goes up.
Yeah, I'm going to try uploading it today. Might take a while.
So that you can watch it on YouTube or Instagram. Shout out to everyone that has been on the comments of YouTube. We appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, there was someone who said they've been watching me before I showed my face, which, to give you an idea, I started doing YouTube videos, like little makeup reviews and hauls and stuff, without showing my face way back when, and then I started showing my face the summer before sophomore year of high school, so I was like, wow, it's been over 10 years. Like, you a real one.
Yeah, so shout out to everyone. Also, friends and family on Facebook and stuff like that. A lot of love during that day when the video was uploaded and everything.
I love it. I've watched it so many times.
Check it out. Lauren told everyone with the prefix or the context of, hey, you should get a tissue.
Get your tissues ready.
So
you're going to cry.
Just want to let you guys know so you can head to our YouTube channel. You can pause this episode, go watch it, come back, and we'll get into it.
You don't want to miss it.
So you have a lot of things you want to cover. I'm going to let you take the reins on that, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty. So, everyone, it's been a while since we've had solid YouTube drama, right? Like, we've, been in this world of the virus and racism and all this stuff, and we haven't really focused on that. And now it's turned. So, it started off with being, I guess, within the beauty community. So that's obviously how I started to hear about it. Similar to the ones we've talked about, different like beauty community drama and YouTube stuff a couple times here on the podcast before in past episodes from like last year and stuff. So it started off with that. It basically was about resurfacing some of the stuff that happened last year with the whole Tati, James Charles, Jeffree Starr drama of when that all went down of, Tati putting out her video and calling James out, and it went in this weird like triangle, and yeah, you'd have to listen to the episode if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but chances are you know what I'm talking about, because it was everywhere. So it started off by kind of that resurfacing, and it was very interesting, right? Because I don't exactly know why it even resurfaced. The internet is a weird place where like things will be dead for a while and then all of a sudden somebody just brings up something that happened a year ago again, and now it becomes this big thing again. So I'm not really sure why it just kind of came up again. However, then it led to a lot of other stuff. So you have Tati, for example, who she has not actually put out a video since the beginning of May, which is very unlike her, other than when it happened last year with taking the hiatus and all that. She has, like, on her Instagram, it was this video of, like, alluding to her feeling emotional and needing some time. Personally, I was wondering if it had to do with something with her infertility journey, and maybe she was taking a step back and on a personal note, and, you know, everybody was going through their own things during Corona and all that. So, like, I didn't really think much of it. And then, you know, it's been almost 2 months now. And with all this stuff resurfacing, for the first time, she said something, but didn't say something. So she went on Twitter and she, like, a couple days in a row put these random little songs on, like, you know, again, emotional, but also alluding to the fact that she may resurface. And so it leads people to believe that, does she have something left to say? Is she gonna be involved in this again? Is she gonna come back again by doing all of this stuff? So it was very cryptic. So that's where her part was, and then that's basically it. We have James Charles, honestly, is not getting involved at this point. I don't blame him. Then we have the whole Jeffree Starr and Shane Dawson collab and relationship. It's interesting because people are speculating that maybe that relationship is coming to an end and there's stuff happening there. Because especially now we go into the depths of the drama that's happening, which is stuff's coming out and resurfacing from like 10 years ago from Shane Dawson. Again, problematic stuff, whether it's racism, anti-Semitism, pedophilia, all of this different stuff is coming out. And Jeffree Starr is radio silent. He does not stay silent for much. So he has not tweeted, done anything in days ever since this kind of started, which is very interesting because it either leads you to believe, is he in on stuff, or are they going their separate ways and he just doesn't feel like being the center of attention for this time? Because he's fine with, maybe if things went a little cold there, he's fine with that. Some people are even speculating that maybe he's leaking some of this stuff. So I don't know about that. But so there's that. So then, out of nowhere, Jenna Marbles comes out and makes this video. And she basically is talking about, in the past, she's made videos that could be problematic and have the wrong underlying message, and how she's privated a lot of her videos, and they probably will forever be. And, you know, she's sorry if she, you know, if people enjoy those or whatever, but at the same time, she pretty much owned up to it in a way that everybody else is not. Like, I think the way she owned up to it and was genuine, like, you could see, like, she started crying and, like, you could just feel that she was a lot more genuine than most of these YouTubers with their stupid apology videos. And she ends up, by the end of it, alluding to that she may not be coming back to YouTube ever. Which was kind of a mic drop moment, because no one's really done that with, in the midst of all these drama sessions. Usually people come out with their phony apology videos, they go silent for a little while, let it blow over, and then they come back. And so I found it very interesting because, out of all people, sure, no doubt she probably did things that would rub people the wrong way, could come off as racist, were, you know, had issues in them. But I think she as an individual is one of those people that actually grew from it and learned from it and could move forward in a genuine manner, versus people like Shane Dawson. So I find it interesting that all of this drove her off YouTube, yet we still have Shane Dawson, Jeffree Starr, all them, who will probably still do their stuff, rise to the top, still make boatloads of money, all that stuff. So I thought that was an unfortunate turn of events. With Shane Dawson, it has come out, like, there were clips of him portraying Hitler and that whole stuff. There's a clip of him pretending to masturbate to Willow Smith when she was 11 years old, with the whip my hair, like music video and all that stuff. And I did the math because I watched his apology video. And he said he was 31 right now. So he was 23 when he was doing that, and she was 11. So because people wanted to come off and be like, oh yeah, teenagers are dumb. If he was like 14, whatever, we've all done dumb stuff. No, he was like a full ass adult, 12 years older, literally twice her age, and doing that. And there's been a lot of speculation about him being a pedophile and having all these different things against him. So he kind of has racked up the counts against him in a lot of different ways, because you have racism, you have pedophilia, anti-Semitism, you have them all. And it's one of those, first of all, I didn't do the research. I'm not quite sure if he privated or deleted a lot of these videos, similar to Jenna Marbles, or if he's just acknowledging. Because one, I think that's an important move, because you should not be making money off of it still. You should show people that you want to be a better person. You're going to just get rid of it. You're not going to leave it there. So I don't know. I don't know if he has or not. Because I never really went back that far with his stuff anyway. But yeah, let me get your thoughts before I go further, because it's a lot of information.
Yeah, so I watched the Shane Dawson video.
Mm-hmm.
Man. When I was watching this video, I'm conflicted.
Okay.
Because, like, for example, for like me, for example, like back in the days, I guess similar to like Kevin Hart, and it was just a common thing of like saying like faggot and stuff like that. And like I was a kid, teenager, well, probably teenager, high school, whatever. But like you sit there and you don't do the same thing, so you realize, I feel like I've talked about this before. You realize that offends people,
right? And
you shouldn't say that.
Well, just like when we were kids, the phrase was "that's so gay" when you were like insulting something. I
want to say that. That's so long-winded, but yeah, I would say that's gay. Like as far as being like that's stupid or something. Yeah.
Right. So it was a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like you at the time you don't realize it, and it's like you don't realize it because this is how I took Shane's video as. He probably didn't have a lot of friends. A lot of diversity around him, I'll say. Mm-hmm. And in the video, he mentions, I guess, one girl, Francesca something, tried reaching out, and like he felt like he was being attacked and stuff like that. And like, I feel like what Shane is talking about is very common. This is gonna go right back to race. What Shane is talking about is very common among white people, where it's like, dog, my whole clique is filled with other white people. I don't have black and Spanish and whatever like in my crew. Mm-hmm. So you're not gonna sit there and feel emotionally attached when you're making your racist jokes, or you're doing blackface, or you're doing these things that are hurtful to other groups of people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I understand it, but I have a major issue in the part where he's just like at some point, I feel like near the end of the video, he's like reaching for something, and he's sitting here like, let me also say this. Let me also get this out. Like, just doing like a tell-all. Like, you're just trying to say sorry for this. I'm sorry for stepping on this person's shoe. I'm sorry for looking at you the wrong way. I'm sorry. You're just getting everything out. And that kind of bothers me, because it feels like you're not being real. Well,
yes. And that's exactly what I was talking about. The difference in those videos. I was like bored during Shane's. I was not believing stuff. I felt it was not genuine, drawn out, and just fluff. I felt like he was just doing it because he got caught. Let's be real. These people, that's what happens. Versus I feel like Jenna Marbles, she actually, I think, looked internally over the past few years,
I'm not gonna
did work.
I'm not gonna say it wasn't genuine because I can't tell that, but I would say I'm undecided with Shane. I don't know how to gauge it. Like, I get it, it's your past. And like, yeah, you learn that you shouldn't do this because the world's gonna tear you up as you grow older, and you realize, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this. Mm-hmm. But I'm still conflicted. What if you still do this around your friends and family? Like, we don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm still conflicted. I don't really have it.
And and to bring this further with the Jeffree Starr stuff, people are like, no wonder that they were friends, because Jeffree Starr is problematic and always has been. Mm-hmm. He's always had racist past and stuff that he shouldn't have done. And so people are saying like, oh, okay, it's making more sense now.
Oh, God, I see.
There was like a commonality there. Because they were hella close. So they probably found the same stuff funny. And like you said, maybe behind closed doors, these were still jokes.
That's what I
maybe
got
they
from
still
it.
were saying the N-word to each other.
And that's
like,
that's why I feel conflicted. Because it's like, I feel like, yeah, you could say you changed, and you probably did for the most part. I'm not saying you didn't, but I also feel like people learn and they adapt and be like, okay, this is not acceptable in society, but I can still do it around my friends that find this acceptable. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like hesitant. But as far as Jenna goes, I feel like we say it's more credible, or we feel like it's more genuine because she was getting a little teary-eyed in it.
That's not only why.
But dog, she was doing the same thing near the end of it. She was like, let me also she said it also, where she was like, she wanted to also say something else, just to kind of be like, might as well throw this in here. I like Jenna's one because she gave examples and showed you, like, this was racist in my past, and like, I liked it a little bit better, but I still kind of feel like she was still like doing the same thing Shane was doing. So
I want to show you a clip in regards to Jenna.
Also,
yeah,
to jump in here with a lot of things. Currently, we're going through a transitional period of where we're calling out you for anything that you have done in your past, and I get it. It's wild. It's stuff in that's been a long time ago. Like Jimmy Kimmel was just called out a week ago for his like blackface he did like way back, and I get it. Some of it seems ridiculous and stuff like that. I really don't have much to add to that part of it being like reaching out to people 9 years ago and everything, but it's like, it just needs to be put out there to your fans and to people that follow you that, like, yeah, this isn't acceptable. I feel like I look at it from like, okay, it's not about attacking this person and having them lose their sponsors and all that stuff. Like, let's focus on the people that follow you. Because Shane made a good point that I thought of, and it's probably why I don't listen to a lot of the common white people. I don't know their names. Like, I don't know them. They don't relate to me because there's something about them that I'm just like, eh. I didn't start watching Shane until probably until recently, like the last couple years.
To be honest, neither did I. I never watched any of his old stuff.
But because I couldn't relate to him and like Joey Gar something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I don't know how to say his last name.
Graceffa?
I don't know. Maybe that's with
Is that it?
But like some of those like old school like white YouTubers, like I could never relate to because I'm just like, I have a feeling that in real life I cling with social media personalities that I feel like I can relate to in real life.
Right.
And I couldn't with these people. Like, you could tell with the content they made.
I don't remember ever watching his older stuff. What back then, like 2010, all that. I was so deep into watching all the beauty stuff that's all I ever watched. And that was back when it was innocent beauty stuff. It wasn't all this drama and stuff. It was just for the love of makeup, and it was like great. Mm-hmm. So, I don't remember. But like Jenna Marbles, I watched back in the day. I found it very interesting because she even talked about like the Nicki Minaj parody that she did and how like she was saying how that was wrong at the time. Back then, I probably didn't see it that way. If I saw that one, I can't remember. But so I found that very interesting because you could argue it's still blackface.
It's tricky because
you could impersonate the person without painting your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could do your makeup in a way that they do. You could get the wig. You can wear the clothes. And you can do like their accent or whatever it is, and they will know who you're impersonating.
It's so tricky with black people now. If you're a white person, though, I will say, because it just feels like an attack. It like no matter how you try to poke fun at a celebrity that's black, at least to me, I feel like it's an attack depending on who you're poking fun at.
That's true.
So like if I see a white person going off on Kanye like you do, I automatically assume you don't understand him, and I get iffy on that one.
What do you mean going off? What do I go off
Not
on?
going off, but like you don't like him because of his whole like the whole thing with Taylor Swift, which I get. You can ride for your
that's literally
your
not the only
stuff.
You make it seem like that's the only
I'm just saying. I kind of feel hurt because it's like I look at someone more than just like their little stunts, stuff like that. Like I look at this. I don't know. It's deeper than that. Mm-hmm. But you can continue on that.
In regards to what we were saying just now about like blackface and all that, so with Shane Dawson, there was a tweet. It said Shane Dawson apologizes for making videos in blackface, saying N-word, making jokes about pedophilia and more. And it quotes, "My childhood, my past, I've had a lot of pain. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me, a lot of issues with my family. I took that pain and turned it into jokes." So somebody quote tweeted this and said, "What kind of family trauma makes you do blackface and call black folks the N-word?" And I'm like, when I first saw that, I'm like, yeah, I agree. I still agree. But I also know that, think about it, people are taught stuff. So maybe it was taught that it was okay. Racism is taught.
Duh.
So, no, but I just found it interesting because this person's, like, their only thing was, like, what kind of...
But it's not,
and it does. It happens. It's not right, but...
Thing. It's not even the family. Let's take it out of the family. That's what just happens with media in the past. Like, movies. Black person always gets killed in these horror movies. Like, in all these movies where... They have a mainly white cast. There's one black girl, one black guy, something like, dog. There's no diversity in like what do you expect when it's like, I don't know, like it's more than just a family thing. Like I get it, you had a tricky familyhood, but it's when the world is like, for example, rap music. When I play certain songs, like if I was to play Snoop's album, his first album he made, it doesn't hit the same as it did back then. Like things change. It was okay in that time, but it's not okay in this time, and that's what's changing. You're straight up itching yourself.
So I found that that's true too. It is a weird time we're in because I think yes, people should take accountability and they should say how they've changed, but also it is kind of weird to hold people so heavily on everything they did in the past if one, times were different, and two, they didn't know better. It's a very interesting dynamic because, I mean, pedophilia, that's totally different. I think everyone always knew that was wrong. I think the evolution of what is racism, what are microaggressions, what is or is not acceptable, I think that's a tricky one.
Dog, I'm starting to get to this point where it's like I'm slowly creeping towards it, where it's like if my friends say a racist joke and I'm not really feeling it, like I'm gonna call you out on it. Like I'm just
not. Now, would you have done that 10 years ago?
No, because it's acceptable. So it's going to be acceptable that I agree with it. I'm just saying things change.
So I'm not trying... let me be clear. I'm not trying to defend anything here. I just find it, like you said, it's very interesting how we hold people today to a standard of today from 10 years ago. Like, and expect that they should have done the same thing 10 years ago. That's hard. So, like, I do think, yes, they should address... Just like businesses. You should address and you should be like, if you don't have enough diversity in your employment and things like that, you should be like, this is how we are changing that. XYZ. Like, so I think going forward is more important than the past if you can prove things will be different going forward.
It's a gray area, but I feel like it still needs to be taught. Like, again, I'm not talking about canceling someone, taking away their money, all that stuff.
Right,
because that's nasty
unless
you're like really.
That's everybody's like MO. That's like let's just cancel them. Period. Don't give them a
needs
chance.
To be talked about. Like, dog, there's a time in high school. I remember this to this day. I had no problem. So in high school, I graduated back in 2011. for those that are younger and older, they're like, man, I feel old, or you're saying I'm old, or whatever the spectrum you're on. And I remember this time we were in the cafeteria, and this kid that was gay, like he was cool with like a lot of the girls, obviously, stuff like that, and like I didn't have a problem with him, but I was just thinking in my head, I'm like who, with the people that I'm sitting with, like who has a problem with them? And then I'm like the teachers, are the teachers fine with this? Because like this guy was like someone that I have like this image in my head, which unless I'm just picturing it wrong, I feel like it's correct. Since this was so long ago, like he was wearing it was like a crop top type thing, so you saw his belly button, and I'm like I was kind of curious at the time, like who has a problem with this? And I remember this because it's a moment in my life where I'm like analyzing myself to see like, am I okay with this? Is it cool with me? Like, as we've talked about, maybe not on the podcast, but I know for myself, like I'm constantly like analyzing myself to make sure, you know, why am I biased towards this color? Why do I not like this? Like I'm always questioning everything. So like that was a moment where I'm sitting here questioning this, and I've come to the realization that like, dog, I don't have an issue, never did have an issue with someone that's gay. But I always sit back and wonder, in that certain time, like who, with the guys that were around me, like who has a problem with this? Or the teachers that, you know, have to like have this guy in their classroom, like who has a problem with the fact that he's gay, like at that time frame or time period?
What's interesting is my schools, there were like no tolerance for even wearing a crop top or any of that kind of stuff. Like they would make you change, period. Not just because you're gay, but like as anybody.
I kind of feel like he rolled it up. It could be like, again, this was a long time ago.
Yeah, like
I kind of feel like it was like one of those makeshift knot type things.
Our schools were like, they were so much that even like your tank tops had to be, it was like either 2 or 3 fingers wide of the straps. You couldn't wear spaghetti straps because your bra strap would be showing, God forbid. Like all the, like there was like policies.
Yeah, but I feel
clothing.
like they're gonna cut him a bit more slack than they would cut a girl, is my thought.
Probably because they didn't know how to approach it. Let's be real.
That too. But that's one moment like I realized, like, I don't know, it's just analyzing certain situations. And like, I know back in the day of YouTube, a lot of things were to get reactions, pranks, all that stuff.
Right.
So it's like a part of me is like, can you really blame the creators if that's what the community is asking for? Like this content that at the time was acceptable, and they're just giving you what you wanted.
I think the line is drawn at pedophilia. That's the only one that I think is a little extreme.
Because I wasn't like a YouTuber. That seems like some clip that was put like maybe on Twitter or something, or I don't know where that was put on. But I don't feel like it was on.
People have said how he's alluded to that before. It's not just that one clip.
Dog.
That it's been in his skits and stuff.
So let's talk about this then. So a clip came out of Shane like, what, dry humping or something,
pretending to masturbate to the poster,
like some poster of Willow Smith back when she was like 10, 11. And in my mind, no matter what age I'm in, I'm never doing that to any image of a young girl.
But that's exactly it. That's the problem. He was 23. It's not like.
Here's the thing, dog. I'm not okaying it. I'm adding context of myself. Because I can feel like back then, like, what was that? He's 23. He's 20. What was that? Like 7 years difference? 7, 8 years? 8 years
ago, I think.
I don't know. Depending on how your friends were and how you guys joked, like, and Shane's had a lot of pedophilia references throughout his career, so it's touchy and I'm just going based on this one clip. It could have been an okay, like, joking thing for his friends, but it should have stayed that. And I don't even know if I saw that, like, back then, if I would be okay with it. Probably not, but I wouldn't go on a cancellation thing. Like, I don't know.
But then it's interesting because then Jaden Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith come out and call him out publicly on Twitter. And, I mean, can you blame them? Because people are saying how, it was back then. as a mother especially, if I saw a 23-year-old man doing that to an 11-year-old picture of my daughter,
you got problems.
Oh. People are even saying, they're like, he wouldn't be alive right now if it was me. Like, that...
Yeah, I guess
that's a lot. So people are trying to say, oh, it's in the past. That, though? No. Because that was still when my daughter was 11. A child.
Yeah.
I still saw it with my own eyes. Like, no. So, I don't blame them.
On the next Red Table Talk.
No, and that's what people are saying. They're like, Jada, do not have him on Red Table Talk no matter what. Do not do it. Don't let him talk. No. Don't let him bring you in circles. Don't bring him in. And a lot of people are saying, I don't think she'd be that stupid because Willow's on it. And it's just a weird, I don't think she would introduce that.
I mean, they don't have to have Willow on. It's not like they
Still, I don't.
Her and the grandma.
I don't think. I don't know, because that's too. I think that's crossing a boundary.
It's like, I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm just trying to, at least giving my experiences in my past, add context to this, because it's a touchy thing, and it's I don't know what person in their mind would say, yo, let me do this, outside of it just being a joking thing with your friends. But then again, Shane has done a lot of risque things in his past. But I gotta I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. That's my thing. It's tough, and I'm not a part of his friend clique, so you can't really say that if he's really changed or not, outside of when we're the outside looking in, and only his friends would know that, and his family. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. It's a touchy one.
So, like I said, I wanted to show you a clip of Jenna Marbles. This is, I think it helps show maybe how she's changed. I don't know exactly how long ago this was. And it is actually around a table with people like Khloe Kardashian, Scott Disick, Malika, who is one of their friends, and other celebrities. So, okay. So they're playing this card game, and she chooses a card and she has to answer it. Mm-hmm. So.
Slaying that Susan, girl. I'm slaying that Susan. Tyga's about to write a new rap. All right, okay. What is privilege to you? Is it a victimless crime? How have you contributed? Wow, thank God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow.
That is way ahead.
Okay. I think you should be able to pick a new card.
Get right into it. No, it's not. Because how have I contributed? If I just throw this card away, I'm contributing to privilege. You talk about the race card. White privilege is a privilege. And if you don't acknowledge it, that's contributing to the problem. It's not a victimless crime.
That was a great answer.
That is a great answer.
What was the answer? That was insane. That went over my brain. I was trying to keep up for a year. Good answer.
What do you think about that question, Morgan? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Nope.
Yeah, I just don't know.
No, I'm not gonna top
What?
that.
Right, that was a great answer.
Thanks.
That was a great answer.
It wasn't. I needed more. That was a PC answer.
No, Jenna Marbles.
That was a PC answer to me.
Okay. Still. So let's break this down. So her even saying that much, I think, is good. Because I think this was years ago, too. This was a few years ago, is what I've heard. So this is before right now, when everybody's acknowledging white privilege, which is ahead of the time, which is good. I found it I saw your reaction, and I'm glad you reacted that way. Very interesting, because other people are saying in the comments, Malika of all people saying, oh, she should be able to choose a different card. The black woman in the room said, no, you can toss that away. It's uncomfortable. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, but here's my issue. I feel here's my viewpoint.
So I thought it was a good thing she still answered.
I really feel like a lot of black people that have money that are in these positions so that they can rock with, personalities, you could say, they automatically be like, yo, it's like the OJ thing. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Like, try to separate your blackness because, I'm not black, I'm rich. I'm separate, I'm myself. And that's kind of how I felt from her, where it's like, you could throw that card, like, lady, no, like, let her talk about this.
Right. And I thought she had a really good example. She's like, no, that's a perfect example of the privilege. If I just throw it away and I do another card, like, are you kidding me? So, like, I don't have to answer this just because it's a little weird and uncomfortable and different.
But I don't like that answer though. I want something different.
I don't know who the what is it, Morgan Stewart? I don't know who she is.
She. What about the guy? Because he seemed like hesitant. That's
Scott. I don't know. He didn't say anything, so I don't.
He didn't have to say anything. His face told me a lot of how he feels about her answer.
I don't know. So I found that interesting, but again, I think it's a step in the right direction for her. And if that was several years ago, I think she might have come further by now. I can believe that.
Watching these, man, I tried saying this episode would be out of these protest stuff. We're slightly like teetering on that edge. Here's the thing. I really feel like a lot of women, I'll say more so white, because as far as Spanish, black, all the rest of the women, like, they understand. But as far as white women, I'm really not interested, but like, I like how they're understanding this and knowing how they are and still are benefiting from the privilege that they have. And I love that compared to some of my white male friends. Some of them don't believe it, or some of them want to fight back with me on it. And it's just like,
oh, there's some white women that don't believe it too.
I'm sure, but I see a lot more white women accept it and are out there, protesting stuff like that versus white guys that are just out here fighting.
That may come from the nurturing side,
like, and we wonder how we're gonna end up, like, being the same color as Drake and many years down the road.
Why is that?
Because there's going to be a lot of families that get mad that their daughter is dating a Spanish person, a black person, an Asian person because of all these mixtures. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to end up happening. Like, I strongly feel like these protests are going to open up a lot of races from like mingling and being like, let me find out about this culture. Let me go into this environment. Let me, experience something different instead of my norm. Like, that's what I feel like is going to happen. And I say that for everyone. Like, I hate the boxing of things. Like, I feel like I've tried looking up to see, like, where race started becoming, like, a thing. Of course, it's hard to freaking find that, so I wasn't helpful. Mm-hmm. But I really feel like a long time ago, before it was written down in books and we started calculating years, I really feel like back then... Okay, so imagine at the time, there was only dark-skinned people in the world, and... somewhere along the lines, like, people started breaking and separating and trying to find food in different areas and started creating lives. And, over that time, it grew and grew and grew, and people got their own cultures and languages and like identities and everything during like these large amounts of time. Then you get skin color changes, eye color, like, all the stuff that we have now. That's how I kind of view what happened. And then I kind of feel like that's what it may be destined to be down the road. I feel like it's going to take a long time, but I kind of feel like that's where we're headed. Back to that. Does that make sense? If not being dark, but at least being like a light brown is where I feel like we're going to be headed. Yeah, and
we've had this discussion before. How, like, we've seen the thing where it says by 2050, like, a lot of most kids will have a shade of, like, tan or brown or somewhere in that range versus super, super white or super, super dark. There's going to be a lot of kids who are on that middle of the ground spectrum.
What's interesting, I was just talking to my mom this past weekend, and we got into like the color thing a little bit, and I didn't get specifics. I should have asked this, but she was saying how her grandfather, his wife was white, and she didn't like anyone that was darker than her grandfather, something like that. So, like, I guess the wife didn't like my mom's dad. Are you getting the placement of this? Probably not.
No.
Damn. Goddamn. Essentially, imagine. Goddamn.
The wife of the
Okay,
grandfather.
I'm gonna put it in the context of us. So we're together,
Right.
And you don't like anyone that's darker than me.
Okay.
But we have kids, and one of the kids happens to be darker than me.
Interesting.
And then you don't like that kid as much and all that stuff.
What?
Essentially, how my mom like broke it down, and I was just like, interesting.
But that's dumb because you always have that risk.
Interesting. I was just interested. And also it's interesting that there was a white
Really-
person that was like, in the family bloodline down the road.
Because with us, it's like the kids could go either which way. We could have a kid pop out that looks completely white. We could have a kid that pops out middle ground or pops out looking completely black.
Yeah.
Like they're you don't know. That's just the magic of DNA.
You have a spectrum. You can have Logic, Drake, or me. Really stop.
I mean, you're not a good example because you're not authentically mixed.
I don't mean mixed,
But like the color, I get it. Yeah.
But like I found that interesting because I'm like, first off, that's crazy, and I also found out that I shared with
Say
you
that about your kid?
that we have. Dog, people say that. Come on, let's be real.
terrible.
I wish
imagine.
my grandfather was alive to like get details on that because
Right.
that would be so interesting if I would have knew that back then. Like, how did that make you feel? Mm-hmm. Like what? Like how was that? That would have been so interesting. And then I found out how like I have cousins in the UK and like they're like lighter skin, and I'm
Right.
like, wow,
Right.
and I feel like they're like around my age and all that stuff. I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So I think we'll wrap up with that topic because it's been a lot longer than I anticipated. But it is still developing. So by the time even this podcast goes live, which is 2 days after we're recording, I'm sure there'll be new things coming out. So
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Where are we at with time?
Already like 40 minutes.
Oh damn.
This is crazy. I'm going to visit, so I'm going to attempt to make this not super long then, this topic. And I guess we kind of told the truth, but also not, because we're kind of also still going into the race things as we talk about this. So, like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
but
yes.
it's half and half. It's topics like, surrounding celebrities and social
Yeah.
media and all that. But several weeks ago, Lady Antebellum announced that they were changing their name to Lady A. And then a few days ago, the Dixie Chicks announced that they were following suit and changing their name to the Chicks. And so these are two stories that I obviously heard of right away because I like country music.
What does Antebellum mean?
That's where I'm going to get into it.
Okay.
So, with Lady Antebellum, it's very interesting because they always had like the nickname Lady A anyway. So I feel like it goes like it's more flowing than the Chicks. I think that one is a little more of a change for people because no one actually called them that.
And people are still going to call them that. Dixie Chicks.
Well, yeah, and then it's that transition period of like the people have been listening to them forever, and it's like
And
now
I feel
you're
like
gonna.
it's older people, like, I could be wrong, but older people relate to them more, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with Lady A, they have this whole like announcement thing. They've been together for almost 14 years, to give you an idea. So they've been in the industry for a while. They named their band after the Southern Antebellum style home where we took our first photos. As musicians, it reminded us of all the music born in the South that influenced us: Southern rock, blues, R&B, gospel, and of course country. But we're regretful and embarrassed to say that we did not take into account the associations that weigh down this word, referring to the period of history before the Civil War, which includes slavery. We're deeply sorry for the hurt this has caused and for anyone that has felt unsafe, unseen, unvalued. Causing pain was never our heart's intention, but it didn't change the fact that indeed it did that. So today we speak up and make a change. We hope you'll dig in and join us. And yeah, so basically they're referring to the fact that it was that time period that refers to also when slavery was a thing. So for them, it's interesting because you could say it's a tricky one, I feel like, because it's not directly tied to slavery. It's not directly like in your face racist. kind of like Aunt Jemima. That's like, I think, more in your face racist. But excuse me. But I mean, I think it makes sense. Like, of course, they were met with backlash. Yes, there's a big white community that listens to country music. So a lot of people were like, this is ridiculous. Like, why? I think I was like, I'm okay with it, because again, I feel like they made their announcement first, and I feel like theirs makes a lot of sense just because they were always nicknamed Lady A. So like, it just, for me, it's time, like it kind of, you're still going by what people know you of. Right. People still know that name. You're not like changing it and like it, but you're dropping the part that could be problematic. And I think I was okay with it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Like it's,
So, then you go into the Dixie Chicks changing to the Chicks. They've also been around, like, I feel like at least a couple decades by now. And they came out with a new song, which you watched the other day, March March, which has like clips to the protests and all that different stuff as well. Their first album in nearly 14 years is going to be available July 17th, which I think is interesting.
why?
Well, just because like they've been gone for so long, and now at the moment that they're now changing their name, they're just like, by the way, we have a new album.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. I kind of feel like it's gonna pique people's interest, that like new listeners is my thought.
Right. I just found it very interesting. So with the Dixie Chicks, people felt, I think, more of a certain way because they are notorious for, I think it was back in 2003, being very against George W. Bush and the things he was imposing for war and all this different stuff. And I mean, they were literally vocal. Like, they would like talk, there
was a big like backlash against.
Yeah, they'd go on rants at like concerts and like all this different stuff. And so people were like, how did you go from being so like anti the establishment and anti, and going against all that stuff, and now people think they're just giving in and just being weak. And I found that interesting. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
this
no
is
sense.
about being respectful to just human beings. The other one was like, yes, the administration, like, you didn't agree with. I think that's a little bit
like I'm sure they probably have black fans or Spanish fans or Asian fans. Like, it's just yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to. I thought I had the right article to reference the whole Dixie argument. Which, what's interesting? People also mentioned, they're like, are Dixie cups not Dixie cups anymore? And I actually think they're not.
Was that theirs?
No. The little cups we use when we brush our teeth. Because I remember...
Were they ever?
Yes. Because that's what my parents always called them. That's what the packaging was. So that's what I always called them. And that's what I put them as on the grocery list, because that's what I always knew them as. And now it's like... I kind of think maybe they took it off the packaging and call them something different.
Nope. When you Google Dixie cups, it comes up on their website.
Okay, maybe it's the brand then.
Dixie bath cups.
Okay,
Dixie
so maybe
cups.
it's the brand.
So is the company's called Dixie? So,
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
It's not going to change then, unless they want to change
so
the
I guess
name.
that's why I always called it, because they called stuff by the brand names, just like they called tissues Kleenex.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. What else? But yeah, I'm trying to find exactly. Oh, what does Dixie mean? Here we go. They started in 1989, further than I even realized.
Yeah, like Vice did a whole video. If anyone finds it, I believe about the Dixie Chicks, and that's how I learned about like their past history.
So Dixie is a commonly used to refer to the states south of the Mason-Dixie line. The song Dixie was the Confederacy's unofficial national anthem. So that's why they're going about it. Because I think people were even more torn on this because they're like, oh, it's just referring to the South. Like, why take away Southern culture, yada, yada. But more specifically, it's the Confederacy. That's why they are doing it, similar to Lady A dropping Antebellum for being a slavery time. It's more of a general. It's not like, but, you know, we're all pretty aware that you shouldn't be waving Confederate flags and that that's not the way of life anymore. And like, yeah. So again, I get it. I don't see a problem that they did this while they also did the thing against Bush's administration in 2003. I think you can do both. I don't see a problem with that. I just think it is kind of weird to call them the chicks. I just think that's weird. I think that doesn't flow as well.
Yeah.
That's my only thing. Like, I don't know.
I would suggest for anyone interested, because this is how I learned about it. And I learned about a lot of interesting topics this way. There's a YouTuber I follow. His name is like, how would you pronounce it?
Bo.
Oh, so that's just how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Oh, well, his name is Bo of the Fifth Column.
He literally says it in his videos.
I didn't know that's how his name was spelled. I spelled Bo differently.
How do you spell bow?
I don't know.
Do you mean like a hair bow? Because
No,
that's
I don't know.
B-O-W.
I don't know how it's spelled Bo, but I would spell it differently than that. But nonetheless, I follow this guy, and like, I love his viewpoints on a lot of things. And he has a video that he put out a couple days ago about, you know, talking about the term Dixie, and just a lot of his viewpoints that I'm like, I agree with. Like, it's not coming from like an opinion. It's a lot of just facts and just straight information, and I love that content. So definitely someone to check out and watch.
I will say what I found in some articles, which was interesting, is apparently, I think it's both of them. Lady A and the chicks, I think, are already smaller groups in other countries. So that's the only issue they're having is... I don't know if it was, you know what, I'll take that back. The chicks, I'm not exactly sure with. Lady A, I'm pretty sure I saw in, I think it's New Zealand, that they're like a smaller group that already went by that for a long time. And I think what they did was they reached out and they like got their blessing that they could also go by Lady A before like announcing this, which I thought was nice because even though they're a smaller group, it's still like they had the name first.
Yeah, but does it even matter? Can you really, if I'm still becoming a rapper today, can I not take the name 50 Cent because there's already one? Like, I don't think you can really do anything about that.
I'm pretty sure it's just generally frowned upon to,
I'm sure, but like...
steal someone's name.
Dog, but
I thought that was cool because they're these big people, so they could have just been like, whatever, they're small ants, it doesn't matter. But I think they went about it the right way, which I think is good.
It doesn't matter. It's not like
I think it's respectful.
It's not a business. They're not losing out on money. Like, it's not like that Lady A is going to start losing money because they're going to go to the other Lady A.
It's still respectful.
So to me, it doesn't really matter because it's not like they're stealing business from one or the other.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
So that's what happened on that end with all of that stuff.
All right. Man. All right. On to something a little bit more lighthearted here. At least I think it is.
We'll see. It starts out that way, and then we go into like some tangent.
This wasn't lighthearted at all. So this is funny to me. So Twitch is being sued for $25 million over suggestive streamers, Alinity, Pokimane, and more. Man, so if you guys aren't familiar with Twitch, it's a game, not a game streaming. It's a streaming platform. You can stream a lot of things. You can just literally stream yourself, just watching YouTube videos, playing guitar, whatever you want.
Games though.
It's catered to games, but you can do anything you want. I've watched people watch movies on Twitch. Like,
that's weird.
You can do whatever you want on it.
I'd rather just watch
except for like
myself.
Nudity and stuff like that, obviously. But,
yeah, that's OnlyFans.
Okay. So this guy is suing Twitch for $25 million in damages for their overly suggestive and sexual content from various female streamers. So,
that's a lot of money.
I don't know how he came up with this document, with this amount. Like,
your life was really that bad off. You need $25 million for that. People don't even get that who are like paralyzed from an accident.
I'm not trying to really get into the gross stuff that he said in this statement.
Vulgar.
But he says he suffers from depression, OCD, panic disorder, agoraphobia, and Crohn's disease.
Okay.
Don't know if you're familiar with the last two on that, because I am not.
Well, Crohn's disease is stomach issues.
Okay. And because of these maladies, goddamn, I'm killing it.
Where are you? Maladies?
Yeah, because of all those maladies.
Phobia. I gotta find out what that is.
Okay, you find that up.
I feel like I've heard of that before.
Find that out there. He heavily relies on the internet for his entertainment and purposes, as many others do during this difficult time. What?
Agoraphobia, fear of places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment.
Okay,
so it's an anxiety disorder, which makes sense.
Yeah. So he stays inside, and because of the current time and all that stuff. Okay, cool. Understand that. So he goes online. He goes on Twitch. And due to coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, many people have to stay at home for entertainment, and that's in all caps on this legal document. And are quarantining themselves, including the particularly vulnerable children. As a plaintiff, he only lives in his house for inflextra infusions, having to deal with Crohn's disease. How otherwise, he's always on the computer, constantly using and watching Twitch. He suffers from a sex addiction due to his obsessive compulsive disorder that makes him obsessed with sex and compulsion.
So I think that's where he lost his case there. I'm just saying.
Twitch has extremely exacerbated.
So it's partly you. You're the problem. Like
no. Twitch. No. Twitch has extremely exacerbated his condition.
Right, his condition. He's trying to generally say it's too sexual. No. It oh God, I can't say that word right now.
No.
It triggered your situation.
No.
You got a lot of things playing up there.
That's what Twitch did. They did this by displaying many sexually suggested women streamers through Twitch's twisted programming and netcode, making it nearly impossible for the plaintiff to use Twitch without being exposed to such sexual suggestive content.
Yeah, but you can't tell people on the platform they can't dress a certain way, or they can't talk a certain way, or they can't, like, it doesn't make sense. Unless they're like fully nude, you can't.
No. You know what the next issue is with Twitch? In addition, Twitch also takes advantage of the plaintiff.
I love the way you're talking.
And many other sexual addicted viewers by allowing them to subscribe, donate, or pay bits to these women streamers.
That's how the streaming works. It's not... Wait, just women streamers. No, it's all the streamers.
No.
How do you think they make money?
No. Twitch uses this immediate gratification reward system against their sexually addicted viewers, no different than how a casino would. And then he lists like,
no, you're paying for the content just like you would do if like YouTubers, they have where you can upgrade the option, or they have Patreon and like all this stuff. It's the same thing.
And then he lists like, a bunch of popular female streamers of that he wants off the platform.
Good luck with that, buddy.
He wants to permanently ban them.
Yeah, you think Twitch is going to do that? Honey, they're benefiting from them too.
Also, I want to note this guy has sued Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo, and they have not been successful, obviously.
Where does this dude get all this money to sue? That's what I want to know.
What are you doing with your time, and why are you just on Twitch?
Where are you getting all this? Like, suing people's not cheap. Using a lawyer for 4 different cases is not cheap.
I don't get it.
You could be using that money for video games that you could play yourself, so you're not addicted to Twitch. Look at that.
No.
Like,
and it's so stupid because you can go on Twitch. Oh, look, I'm signing into your profile on this. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I think you were signing in a long time ago. I never signed out. I'll sign you out because I don't really care about that. Yeah, and the thing is, like, you've seen me go on Twitch, like, you can see, they show you a thumbnail of what the person's, like, currently doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know if it's a guy or girl, you know if they have their camera on or not, like, you know what is what. And it's like, if a girl happens to be wearing, I feel like, just because how females' clothes are, like, a lot of them just have, like, the more of the, what do you call it, like a
low
V-neck
cut,
or, like,
yeah.
a low cut. And it's like, that's just normal. Like, if you're bugging out about that, just don't click on the video.
That, and I know you and me were, like, debating about cleavage before. Okay, also, if you are well endowed with breasts, first of all, you could be one of the people that you always have cleavage no matter what shirt you wear, how you wear them, what bra you wear, okay? Or maybe your bras, the way your breasts just sit in them, that promotes cleavage or whatever. Like, I promise you, cleavage is not always intentional. It's like, it's just a way of our life at that point. Like, it just happens. Like, I promise we are not always trying to sexualize, especially men. Like, we're really not. We're just out here trying to live.
Just trying to do the same thing that guys do.
And maybe sometimes it just makes us feel good to wear that, okay? But it ain't for you. Like,
I don't get it. I did want to talk, among the whole Will and Jada and Shane Dawson stuff. We missed it last week, but I did want to talk about, Father's Day just passed, and Will and Jada did like a 1-to-1 that I thought was like a real great, like 45-minute video that I watched. And one part of it like stood out to me, and I want to touch on this. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to play this clip. I think I started it at a weird place to start off, but just, rock with it for a moment.
Make room for fathers. Mothers have the kids. They're yours. They're yours. It's hard. I can't get them from you. Yep.
You own that.
Okay, you own them.
It.
Those are your kids. They came from your body. They're yours.
Right.
I can't father if you don't make room for me and you don't support me.
That's true.
And you have to make room for me in my imperfections. You can't say you're going to make room for me if I get perfect, because I'm not perfect and I'm not going to get perfect.
And never will be. That's right.
And I've had both situations.
Mm-hmm.
And, it feels very true for me that motherhood is the doorway to successful fatherhood.
That's important. There has to be a partnership.
Yeah. The mother has to value fatherhood.
Yeah. So it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on this and kind of throw in my experiences. Man, this whole episode's been a thing of my experiences. And yeah, I gotta say I agree, because like coming up as a kid that like my dad kind of went off and did his own thing, and like seeing how your mom, like people that understand this, that have a stepdad and all that stuff, like I'm sure you probably have seen your mom kind of be like, putting your dad down in a sense, like she doesn't like him. And I totally understand it, because my mom had every right to feel upset, to feel betrayed, like all that stuff, after knowing that this person that you cared about cheated on you, and yeah, like that was going to be your family. And I feel like something happened as I grew older. My mom stopped like trying to put things in my mind, and like kind of settled into the fact of letting me have my own views and opinions about my dad, and like letting me, like, not stopping me from like going over his house, and like I'll even go to the fact that she wanted to like encourage it a more, for me to have my own opinion and view, which I love and respected that. But I needed it to understand where she was coming from, because it's like, if you're sitting here blocking me off saying, I shouldn't like my dad for this reason or this and that, I need to make that opinion now, so I'm going to sit here and resent you. So she opened that up, and like, yeah, there's some flaws there. I'll say that. But it's like, being able to like have a relationship with your kid and with the dad, it's needed. Like, it's just... the mom needs to be open to that relationship happening. And I hope, we constantly talk about this throughout this podcast, how we want to raise our kids in a certain way, and I hope we do, fingers crossed, all that. It's just, I know we have slightly different views on like how we would handle certain situations and all that stuff, and I know it'd be interesting growing and adjusting to it, but I feel like, we'll be able to work through it and find what works for us for, like, me to, like, take the kids out to the park or something, or us go on a walk and just have, like, a bonding moment, or, like you were saying earlier, how, someone that, like...
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I'll lead into it for you. How you were saying earlier, how, like, someone has, like, this, like, they have the dad, like, likes doing the showers or the bath, so he'll, have that moment with them. And I like that, just adapting and finding what works for each other.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't have step parents or divorced parents or anything like that, but it also was not completely healthy. And I think my relationship with my dad, although it was good, it could have been different if there was more space to allow that in a proper fashion. So I do definitely see that, because there is that mutual respect that you have in a healthy parenting relationship. So there's that. And then I was saying before how I watched like this therapist or something on TikTok, and she was saying how as mothers, it's hard because you're gonna step in and you're gonna be like, he's like over here distracting me with Facebook on his iPad. You're going to have those moments as a mother that you want to do everything because you think you're the only one who can do it the right way. You want to fix how he did it. You want to butt in. You want to say, like, no, not that way, do this way, things like that. And I can completely see myself doing that because of my personality to begin with, and because of, you just have this fierce, protective feeling for your child, and I can completely envision that. However, at the same time, it's not good. You gotta let dad have his dad time, because again, yes, you guys automatically have a bond that the kid and the dad do not, just for the simple fact that you grew the child for 9 months. There is a physical bond that they will never have. So you need to allow them to bond even more. That's why I think personally, like I know you and I have talked about, I think it's super important. Once the kid pops out, I mean, obviously I'm going to have my time. Kid's going to be on me. But I'm a big advocate for skin to skin contact and how it's very important after birth, because there's been studies done on this. It is huge when it comes to bonding the parents. And I think even more so, again, so important for the dad and the child, because again, kid came out of you just now. Kid doesn't know dad, maybe knows dad's voice because it's heard through like the stomach and stuff, but like let them have that. Like the skin to skin is so important, and it's such a wonderful moment too, just to have as a new parent. Like, this is your little being. Okay, so we've talked about that. And furthermore, that person on TikTok was saying how, like you said, the example she gave was bath time is like daddy and kid time. They have several kids. She just lets it happen. It's one of those where she walks away, she closes the door, she just goes and does her own thing, because you can't also have it be where like it's their time, but you're like checking in and you're like, oh, like, did you wash the suds away right? Or like, did you get that part of her? Or like, did you, those kind of things, because that doesn't allow for that genuine like daddy child time. Which I think is super, super important, because just like as mommy, you want the same thing. Yeah. Like, let's be real. I want the same thing where it's like, I'm going to have my moments with the child, or I'm going to have my chores or whatever it is with the child. And I don't want someone breathing down my neck saying like, well, you should have tried this way, or you did that wrong, or things like that. So yeah. So I totally I totally agree with it wholeheartedly. Yeah.
I try to bring that up because I'm like, I rock with it. I do look forward to that time whenever kids come into play, but that's a little years down the road. So yeah.
Yeah.
Lastly, we're gonna hit into some relationship advice. Man, this has been a long episode.
You're welcome.
Lately, I feel like our episodes have been
consistently. They've been longer just because of all the stuff that was going on.
I'm cool with that. So this is an interesting one, kind of leading into that. I guess following up with what we just talked about. This one is it says why men don't talk about their problems even with friends. I met this guy, and he never asks for help, even when he really needs it. He doesn't talk about it with his friends or anyone else. His best friend is my friend, too. I don't know if it's a pride or... Oh, I'm going to just say pride thing, because they didn't say... or something else. Don't... Okay.
The way you read things...
Yeah, I'm like...
I don't know if it's pride or something else.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what, dog?
But there's a lot of men that just don't ask for any help or talk about their problems.
Yeah. So this is like a follow-up, I guess you could say, to that Will Smith one, at least in my eyes. Want me to take the reins on this one?
Sure. I mean, it's not specifically fatherhood.
It starts there.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm not sure what...
They're just talking about why don't men talk about their problems to people.
Yeah, I'm saying it starts there.
Okay.
I feel like it starts there. Am I wrong?
All right, go ahead.
Now, this is something that I feel like is missing in the world. In men. It hurts. It hurts a lot. Now, there's something about, like, being a guy that you have to be, like, you know, strong and you can't cry and stuff like that and all that, like...
Ugh.
And you don't need help.
Ugh.
The way so you may have your thoughts and views on it. So let me just get do my Eminem 8 Mile verse first here. If you probably don't understand that reference.
Okay, go ahead.
But like the way I handle things, to speak on myself, I ask for help when it's like when I really need your help. When I'm like, yo, when I need it, just know that like I need it, like type of thing. So I'm not like I'm not like completely out of being like, no, I can't ask this person for help. I also like going through the challenges of like knowing that I can handle a certain situation and I can rely on myself more. But like I have no problem, you know, calling on you or calling on someone. Like I remember way back before we moved in.
Wow.
I locked my keys in my car when I was going to the gym late at night, and I called up my friend that was right by the street, and I'm like, yo, well, he wasn't right by the street. He's probably like 10, 15 minutes away, still about the same distance from my house. I'm called him up, and it's probably like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, hey, I just locked my keys in my car. Do you mind like coming and picking me up so we can go and all this stuff? And like, he was totally fine with helping me. Like I could have called my mom or something like that and woke her up and had her come, but like I decided to call my guy friend for whatever reason that was, because it would have been the same distance.
Right.
And just like, and I like to think that like I'm open to my friends reaching out and talking, and I feel like it does happen when I hang out with my friends and it's just us, you know, in the room or at a table just talking. I feel like we have that conversation where it's just real and honest. Because that's how I like to have like my relationships. Like, dog, I have no problem hugging my friend. I have no problem holding hands with my friend. Like, you see, like when we had our wedding, I have no problem sitting there hugging my friend and like it's all love. At the end of the day, it's how I'm trying to like give it off as. I don't have any.
That'd be kind of weird if even at a wedding though, people aren't like a little more, you know, emotionally connected.
I mean, okay, I'm going to say this here. I'm not going to give names, but I had some other guy friends that were there that were too cool for school and just like, I'm going to sit down and not do anything, if you recall.
What? Not do anything?
They didn't do anything for the whole wedding. They just sat there and did not do a single thing. Didn't dance, didn't.
Well, okay, dancing, no, that's different.
But
I'm saying like.
Just literally sat there though. Like stayed there, like just like, we're cool. We just came just to come. Like we just came to just take up a seat and that's it. Like it was just like. Guys,
right.
You don't have to dance. You can come out and talk and
right.
Like, you don't have to just sit there and be like that cool guy in the corner.
Right.
Like, you can come out and interact and, be a part of this thing.
Right.
Because we got the videos back, and I don't see you guys. You guys are not in the videos. I won't remember this. I may remember it, but I will remember this 10, 20, 30 years from now when I'm sharing this to our kids. Like, I'm not going to remember these guys were in the video because they weren't there.
Right. No, I get you. So I was more so thinking, I think, when we went around and, like, hugged everybody and did that whole thing.
I'm talking about the whole thing.
Okay.
But I don't know. I like to get that out of my friends and make that be a safe place. Yeah, I really hate, like, when my friends are, like, in a not so great space, and I like to be like, yo, I'm here, like, I can help, or if not help, I can, you can talk to me, like, yeah.
Man, I'm a hugger, so Corona has, like, killed my soul.
Just hug with some gloves on and some plastic
gloves. Oh my god! Right, we're gonna have to just put like
just get
plastic
a shower curtain
all over our body.
A shower liner or whatever. But that's my thought on when it comes to men not having feelings and all that pride stuff.
No, I hate that. I hate the whole like boys are taught you have to be stronger, you have to wipe it off, you have to pretend like everything's fine, you can't cry, you can't all this different stuff. No. Kids are kids, period. They're all trying to process their emotions. They're all trying to figure out what the world is, how to act in it, like what they like, what they don't like. No, you have to encourage humanity, encourage a personality, encourage like whatever's going to come from this. Like, yes, there's moments that, okay, if it's not the best time to cry right now, or if it's, or if they're going on for like 5 hours over like a scrape or something, like, sure. But like, I think you definitely need to encourage emotional autonomy because they're their own being. Like, they need to learn what feels good, what doesn't feel good, how do I process this for myself? Because also, the child is their own being. Just because maybe I'll cry more or I'll cry less than they will over the same thing doesn't make it wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, they just process it differently. And that's okay. It's just like adults. And we're encouraging them to grow up to be a functional adult. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not trying to raise a kid that has this baggage from childhood of, well, no, I can't react that way. Or like, that's not okay, or I'm seen as less of a man, or like any of those stupid stereotypes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. If anything, it's like, it's arguable you're seen as more human if you let emotions show. Because again, humans have feelings and emotions, whether they're good or bad, throughout your entire life. They're always playing a role in stuff, in reactions, in experiences, with people, with promotions, with job loss, with everything. You're always experiencing emotions. And it's also very counterintuitive to shut those emotions off, to pretend they're not there. That's actually not good for you for a lot of reasons, whether it's your mental health, your actual body. Like, it's not okay to just pretend feelings don't exist. Mm-hmm. That's not good for you. They're there for a reason. And if anything, you should look into them more and be like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Like, and obviously that comes with time, like not a 5-year-old, but like you can start teaching them in a childlike way. But, I think it's important to look into, because I've been doing that a lot more lately. And it's like, okay, why am I feeling this kind of way about this? Like, what is it bringing up? What should I address? What, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the way I handle life is a bit different than yours, which is fine. But I handle it as far, and what I hope to teach our kids is like, you can juggle between, being what I would call like logical and what would be emotional. Well,
you need both. Everybody has both. It's just we have them in different degrees.
Yes. Well, obviously you need both.
Right.
Yeah. Because depending on the situation, it calls for it calls for it. Like, for example, the one I can think of off the top of my head is like the videos we just got from the videographer, which put a lot of time, love, effort in, and they came out amazingly. And I'm sure he has these customers. We didn't push him at all during that process as far as getting it. And I'm sure, people that are more emotional are sitting here like, a month after the wedding's done. It's like, yo, where's the video?
Right.
Where's the video? And it's just like,
I could imagine, because we all have those kind of clients.
Just give the person time. Like, certain situations, you just call for it. And I hope, along with the kid, train your son or daughter to be like, why do you feel the way you feel? Explain it to me. Like, let's talk it out.
Right.
And then also as they grow up, say, given whatever situation they're in, which one is better for you to use? Should you really be shouting at your, younger brother or younger sister? Or should you say, hey, can you please get just breaking it down on what should be applied given the situation that you're placed in? I have no idea. That was a noise outside.
Oh, it's on the other side of the wall. Our cuckoo neighbors.
But that's one thing I want to push is like that, that balance of being emotional but logical given the situation that you're in, because both are needed, and it's just knowing when to apply it. Right. Like I used the classic example of speaking of our neighbor. Gotta lower my voice because we have
the AC in.
Yeah. So there's a time where we had some management meeting, for everyone to get by in the condos. And this person told me, hey, I'll be there, Shadell. I'll see you, all that stuff. First time meeting this person, all that. So show up, and because this person had a lot of issues, so we're going to talk about it, with the management company. We're going to go over it and hopefully get them addressed. Didn't show. And I still remember this to this day, because I always go to it because I was so emotional and I so wanted to take out my anger. We were driving back in your car. I was in the passenger seat, and dog, I was so ready to start spazzing. So ready. And you don't remember it that much, I'm sure, but I instead of me spazzing, I just kept saying how mad I was, and just and I'm I could take my anger out and start hitting your car, because that's really what I felt, because I can't do anything else. But I'm that's not smart. It's your car didn't do anything. It's just, and ever since then, dog, it's been I don't rock with this neighbor. Straight up. Right.
Well, again, you processed what you were feeling. What is the best action to do right now? And then what am I doing going forward with this information? That's what we all strive to do all the time. Of course, that doesn't always happen, but that's exactly it. But that's still acknowledging you have emotions and utilizing them. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Because the whole men don't cry thing really always bugged me.
I cry, if not once every 2 months, at least once a month, I feel like.
And here's the thing. You're definitely, obviously I'm more emotional and I do cry more than you do. But you do when it's warranted. You know what I mean? You're not trying to pretend it's not there, the feeling isn't there, and that you're granted, yeah, sure, sometimes when we feel like crying we want to hold it back because it's an inopportune time, or we don't feel like addressing it or something. But you let it flow, because one, you're in a safe space with me, and two, we're human. That's it. And for example, you cried a lot at the wedding during your vows.
Oh man, I hate that.
And everybody saw. But also, I think it's safe to say most people probably would agree that's not weird. It is an emotional day. It's everything.
It's weird if you don't cry.
Everything. Well, again, everyone's different, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing.
But it's a very heightened day for obviously mostly you and I, the people involved, but a lot of other people. Crying is a very expected thing at weddings. And so, and same with funerals. Weddings and funerals, crying, but for different reasons. And it's I feel like nobody would see a man crying on his wedding day and say, oh, you're less of a man because you cried. So then if that's okay, why is it not okay for the man to cry when he's going through stuff? If he's super stressed, say he lost his job or whatever, People can react.
If any, I was funny that you say that because I was thinking in my head, probably on that day, I'm like, if any of my like close guy friends like say anything about it, like as far as like anything, that like other than like maybe a minor joke, I'll take whatever.
Yeah.
Dog, I don't think we could be friends. Because I'm like,
dumb.
I guarantee it's going to happen to you probably. Like, it's just is what
dumb.
it is.
Like, think, okay, we're all adults here. Like, it's a wedding day.
Yeah.
What? So, yeah, but that's exactly my point. So if that's acceptable, if it's acceptable for a man to cry on the wedding day in a funeral, why is it not acceptable to cry when shit hits the fan and I'm overly stressed or I don't know what I'm doing or, whatever? Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense. So I always hated that logic. So I think guys should be able to be more open with their family and friends, be open with their emotions, accepting to their emotions. And so I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, some groups of people are...
Well, it's a girl. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't.
Well, some groups of people are more open to it and less open to it. That's what it comes down to. But I think as a whole, we're humans. Period.
Yeah.
That's it.
Man.
Woo!
Well, guys, we gave you a long-ass episode.
You're welcome. The Moana song got in my head now.
If you guys made it this far, as always, I gotta say I appreciate you because thank you. Definitely check out the wedding highlight video if you have not. It is on YouTube. It will also be on our Instagram. Around the time this episode comes up. So check either those two places, and keep some tissues on deck.
Yay!
I don't think we would upload the documentary. I think we're just gonna hold that for ourselves.
That's a massive file.
I've seen some like YouTubers do that, like have it up on YouTube. I don't know if I want to. I don't think I want to do that because I want to keep it for myself.
Well, first of all, it's like I feel like that's more personal, but also that's a massive file.
Okay.
Ugh, I don't want to upload that.
I mean, I can upload it, but I don't want to. So
right. So
you guys keep the highlight.
You get the highlight.
The highlight is really good.
Gives you a nice little taste into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, guys, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. We got some stuff we gotta do.
Yeah.
As always, thank you for listening. I appreciate you 110,000%, whatever that is.
Okay.
I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Lauren.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace out.